life with your mama. Go on and work it, lady. Yeah, that's how you work it, lady. It's never no, or maybe this is how you get it, baby. Work, work. How are you doing, ladies? I hope you are doing well. This episode is on why more and more women are choosing to stay single. In this episode, we are going to share three reasons women are choosing to stay single. Okay. First of all, let's just start by saying this, in years and years past, not really my generation, I don't think, but in times past, maybe our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, and that could be different too, depending where in the world you live. But, you know, there could have been a thing of, hey, you're still single at X age. What is wrong with you? Or why are you not getting married? And there was a lot of like shame and almost like ostracizing happening if you were not married or had kids and all that business by a certain age. And what is happening is that is actually changing a lot. And, although I am a married lady, I think that this could be a good thing. I think this can be a very good thing for a lot of women. And it's something that I think people should have more conversations about. And if people choose to stay single, it is their life and they could do whatever they want that they feel is going to best serve them. Okay. So there's going to be three reasons I'm going to share from what I read and just what I've seen. And you probably seen these two, three reasons that women are saying, you know what, I'm good. I don't need you, sir. Kick rocks and keep it moving. Okay. And here are the three: one, emotional abuse; two, financial strain; and three, the heaviest hitter of all, infidelity. Okay. So some women may have experienced some of these things in a previous relationship. And then moving forward, once they are out of that relationship, they may say, you know what, I'm good. I'm not going down that road again. Or some women have never even been in a relationship and they're like, you know what? I could already see there's a lot of emotional abuse that's kind of common and looks like some financial strain and looks like fidelity could happen to me. So, you know what? I'm good. Okay. I feel like Vivica Fox saying that when she was interviewed about whatever she was interviewed with pay inequality. And she was like, I'm good. This is something that like a lot of women could say, you know what? I'm good. Okay. And I'm glad that some of the women are good, and more power to them. Okay. So those are the three reasons that a lot of women are just saying no to getting married and being in relationships. So let's talk about something that I found very interesting. This is not just a US thing, but this is becoming a worldwide thing. I saw an article recently that was out of Korea talking about how more and more young Korean professionals are choosing not to get married because the men are just trash. If you did not know, rape is actually really high in some of the Asian countries like Korea, China, abuse towards women, and there's really not a lot of help for it. Even at this day, women just kind of, you know, bottle it all up inside and never talk about it again. But being raped during, courtship, with dating someone is common in some of these areas. And so women are just staying away from men because of it. Okay. So that's kind of one part of the world. Let me just share with you what I found out of India. I think this was the Hinduism Times. Let me see. Where did that go? Where did my Hinduism Times article go? Do. Um, yeah. So here it is. Yeah, the Hudistan Times. And they shared several reasons as well why women are choosing to be single. This was a 2022 article. But their reasons, some of the ones that they stated here, was focusing on career and financial independence, disappointment with romantic partners, and self awareness. So, with like India, we know that that is a place where a lot of arranged marriages happen. While if everyone is consenting, arranged marriages have worked out for people. I do know people, they're not from India, but they are from different areas where the arranged marriage thing is popular. They met the dude, they like the dude, they're like, hey, my parents hooked me up. I love this. So I do know people where arranged marriages have absolutely worked. But then there are also the horror stories, which sometimes those can be more common, where people are like, "Hey, I hate this dude, didn't want to marry him. My parents forced me to do this, and I hate my life." So that is something too that the Hindustan Times also did, share some things kind of around that topic. But women around the world are becoming more financially independent. It is a new day. So now women are in the workplaces, in full force. A lot of times the woman is actually the breadwinner. That is actually becoming a thing here in the States, where women are earning more than men, as it is in these other parts of the world as well. And so this is definitely a thing in India. It's going to vary, of course, region to region. Everywhere, is different, even within one country. But this is something that is definitely happening. There's a lot of female Indian professionals as well, and they are not having it. One article that I did read was talking about domestic violence, and there is a lot of domestic violence in some of these relationships as well, in India. And so women are, look, we're sick of it. Okay. We don't need y'all. I can support myself now, instead of in times past where these women would actually need men to, you know, be able to, have a home and have a family and do all of that. But now they are able to go to school and, get themselves some trade skills or degrees and support themselves. So they're like, well, why would I go with this fool when, I may be opening myself up for domestic violence, abuse, and all these things? Why would I do it? And so a lot of women are seeing some of these no good, no count men for what they are and just staying away. Once they see the red flags, they are just choosing not to enter the unions. And so that was most of the information that I saw with the Korean things that I read, and this one out of India, that women are just, being more objective now. I'm like, hey, this is not what I want for my life. I can support myself. I don't need to just take any man just to say, I'm married and all of this. So I think that that can be a good thing. It could definitely open a woman up to pursuing more goals that she wants in her life. And everything. Now, there is always going to be two sides of the equation. Of course, there are some great things to be said for being in a relationship, but that's really not the topic for today. This topic is more so just on why women are choosing to stay single. Okay. Um, Another reason women are choosing to stay single is because they are like, look, I know I have issues from a previous relationship, or I've had issues with people, in a previous relationship, and they're like, I'm good. I just don't want to go that road again. Some women feel that I'm just going to keep attracting this same type of dude that I do not want. And so they are choosing to stay single. Um, the Guardian had something interesting to say. Singleness is no longer to be sneered at. Never marrying or taking a long term partner is also a valid choice. And I think that is something definitely true. You're better off staying single if you're feeling like you just have to get married just to get married, or people are forcing you to be married, or you're lowering your standard. Women are very intelligent. And I often see that, the women who are career women, and that they've done all these things, their mind are sometimes just kind of opened up in a different way. And so maybe they just see stuff that they're just not willing to compromise on, and they're like, I'm good. So to each his own. If they choose that, hey, that is good for them. You know what I mean? I mean, even me myself, although I am in a marriage, would I actually get married again if, something were to happen and that was something that I was in a situation that could be a possibility again? Probably not, because there's too much going on with some of these men. So, they're liars, they're cheaters, you don't know actually know what they're doing. It takes time to get to know someone. My marriage I'm in now, I've known this person for a long time. This is someone I have grown up with. And so that just to me, for me personally, I can't recreate that with somebody else. It just would not, in my opinion, for me, be worth it. To even do that again. So I can understand why, people choose that. I'm happy for, where I'm at, and just probably I don't think I could love or put myself out there or even want to go through all that work of getting to know somebody else. And then the minute you think they know them, oh, okay, here they done something wild, crazy, and dumb that you never even saw coming. Yuck. Because I'm not very meek like that. If there's infidelity and things like that happening, it's not gonna be pretty. Okay. Like I'm not just gonna turn the other cheek on that. So it could be good, for those of you who are like me and aren't gonna put up with that kind of stuff. Just don't even go down that road, sis. Just set it on out. Now, I think I saw a statistic somewhere that said almost like, by 2029 or something, 50% of women in the US will be single or something like that. I don't know if they can really mark that as a statistic or not. But it's just it could be a possibility, and it is what it is, but again, I just feel that it's better to be single and happy than miserably married or lowering your standard. Like, okay, well, I can't find the person I like. I guess this person is all right. I guess I'll give them a try. No, you know what I mean? Psychology Today shared a couple reasons why so many people or women, excuse me, are loving being alone. Um, they're more interested in pursuing their own interests. Um, and they don't want to deal with some of the things they have dealt with before, like unhealthy attractions, pickiness, low. They don't want to, be put into a situation where they have low self-esteem, and some may even have a fear of intimacy. Um, Another article went on to say that some women do it because they just kind of want to be positive all the time. Relationships do take work. You are not in a positive mindset all the time, even if you have a good relationship. And so some women are like, hey, you know what? When I'm by myself, I am at least, I might be lonely, but I'm not, angry or mad at someone or, trying to figure something out, or it's just less to do, less to think about. And so that could be good. Now, I did see something else here that said a lot of women that, maybe they have ADHD or autism, they are also choosing to be alone, more so for personal reasons, like, hey, they have ADHD or they have autism, and they know that, day to day can be just very different for them. So they just don't want to bring anybody into their world like that. They rather just focus on themselves, focus on keeping themselves happy and healthy, and not even dealing with anyone else. So again, that is something that some women may choose to do. And I think for women who are dealing with those challenges, I think that could be very good to do. I think for women who have been in a relationship and are having some post traumatic distress, it's very good to do that. My mother was one of them. She had so much post traumatic stress um, disorder from her first relationship. She vowed she would never marry again. And to this day, she is not married again. She's just like, I had enough of the whole relationship thing. I am not interested. And so that's what happens to a lot of women. They get with these men, they abuse them horribly, and then they're just done with men. And so that is understandable. So if you're a single woman and you're listening, definitely listen to this, because there's something to be said for that. Like, if a woman is with a man and she literally never wants to get married again, what does that tell you about how easy or how difficult relationships can be? So, especially if you're young, I hope this information encourages you not to just think, oh, I could get married. It's easy. I like him. He's cute, whatever. And you're not thinking about anything. And then you do not have any idea how the wrong man could literally ruin your entire life. People are out here catching, all kinds of things, AIDS, all this stuff, because their men are not faithful. You know what I mean? And that can happen to anyone at any time. The minute you're thinking that, oh, that would never be me, that's the prime moment it's going to happen to you. So I always tell anyone I talk to, never be too haughty, never think it can never happen to you, because every woman has always said that, oh, I never thought this would happen to me. Yeah, no one ever thinks anything's going to happen to them. So you just have to be careful and very selective. One book that helped me when I was selecting my marriage mate was Young People Ask, and I read that thing cover to cover. I still have it day in, day out on repeat. Okay, like I had literally memorized some pages. Okay, so that was very helpful to me. Talking with other women, listening to the older women, the things that they would share, the tidbits, about being a woman and relationships and things like that. And also, when you saw someone who got into something and it didn't work out for them, like learning from that and being like, whoa, okay, so this chick did this, and this is how it turned out. Whoa, okay, if I see a guy with these signs, like if he's controlling, he's an alcoholic, he don't want to work, he's real lazy, you know, see how it works out for that person. And then take a mental note, like, okay, that's how it worked out for them. Like, that is not what I want. Okay. So, and then just wait, wait. Just because you're single now doesn't mean you might not want to, pursue marriage later or whatever. So, again, it is not easy out here. It is not easy. So again, financial strain. There are more and more things being shared that give us the idea and the indication that women are also bringing a lot of the money now to the table and then being bossed around and told what to do with their money. And it's like, okay, I made the money. Why are you telling me? You know what I mean? It's, there is a headship arrangement and a you know, core thing you can do to have a healthy relationship. But if someone's just going to be dogmatic and a bully, women don't want to deal with that anymore. They don't have to. You know what I mean? A lot of our grannies and great grannies, they really did not have a choice. Be it, their circumstances, maybe, their race, they couldn't even be employed or get a job on their own, or maybe they lived in a country where women just weren't allowed to work, and so basically they literally had no choice. Well, that is not the case in most places anymore. Women can work, they can enter the workplace, they can support themselves, or they're also, this is something that's interesting that's happening as well, family dynamics are shifting. So children are staying home like longer. They're in, as much as we talk negatively about, the families today and stuff like that, there are some things that show us that there are a lot of healthy family dynamics out there where kids are not in as much of a rush to leave home. They love their families, they're happy there. And so, unless someone comes who can add the same kind of value, they're not tripping to leave home. They're not running out the door anymore, because, the parents now are more focused on parenting their kids, for the most part. There's more information on parenting. People, for the most part, are trying to be more intentional with their lives and their kids. And so, a lot of young kids out there now, maybe they're, 17, 21, they're like, hey, I love my parents. Like, we go on vacation together. We do all this awesome stuff. They're there for me. I can talk to them about anything. And so if they know what a healthy relationship look like now. That's what the key is. They know, like, okay, this is how a family dynamic should function. This is what love feels like. This is what happiness feels like. And so when they encounter these fools, out in the street, out in the world, they're like, okay, this feels really weird. This is not what I'm used to. I don't need this. And so more women are choosing to stay single. Now, this is because also there aren't as good of men out there as there used to be. It's all a jumbled mess. So women are improving basically, and the men are declining. There's a lot of men out there now, they don't want to work. The idea of chopping wood or doing something manual, or even being a provider. Maybe they have an office job, but whatever it is they're providing, that is becoming a foreign concept. Now they want to know, well, what does the woman bring to the table? Does she make more than me? I'm looking for a free ride. It's like, come on, guys. People can sneer at traditional roles all they like, but there is a way that some of the traditional roles, such as a man being the provider, the woman being there to love, support, and run the household, that could really work out well if it's done right. If either one feels like they're going to dictate to the other one, you can go ahead and throw your hands up in the air and call it a wash. But if the two can actually act right and apply the traditional principles of how marriage was initially instituted on love, respect, all of those things, then guess what? It could actually really work out well. But nowadays, the men, a lot of them don't want to be men. We see all this talk of, men, the feminine man, they don't want to do anything. They just want to sit around, go get $80 haircuts and watch sports and play video games all day. They don't want to get a job. I see a lot of men that job hop. They're constantly from one job to another job. That is very bad for a man to do, especially if he's a breadwinner for the family. A man needs to be stable, you know, um, and so then that creates uncertainty for the woman because this man can't even stay on one job and build up some seniority, build up a 401k. And so these women are like, well, I can build this up on my own. What do I need this man who's just here to give me a headache and eat all my food all day and complain? Like what gives, So it really is a shame, but we are seeing this, more and more men are stepping out of the traditional roles of manhood and becoming, almost like they want to be taken care of and just more feminine. So ladies, if you have a masculine man that is not a dominant bully, but a man who is a rock, a stronghold, a loving support, hang on to that man, commend him. And if you are a boy mom and you are married to a man and he has these qualities, make sure you instill those in your kids so these next generation of women can have some decent men to pull from, because the way it's looking right now, it's a hot mess. I think about my little ones all the time. I'm like, um I'm not going to be, standing for just any old thing, and I'm training my girls to identify things even from a young age. If a guy says this to you, this is the point, and this shows you who he is. Don't fall for it. You know what I mean? And you can start having these conversations with your young ones as well, your little ladies especially, at very young ages. Okay, basically as soon as they know enough, go ahead and start some of these conversations in a delicate way that's age appropriate, because they need to hear some of these things from their mom. you know you just need to get into it. All right. And so this is really a shame. That it has to be that way. But again, at the end of the day, women want to be happy. Women don't want to deal with these difficult men who don't want to work, don't want to do anything, and then turn around and be dictatorial and dogmatic. It's just like, are you kidding? Really? So yeah. So kudos to the ladies out there who are choosing to remain single, to focus on their own mental and physical well-being and putting the relationships on the back burner. Now, what if you're a lady who's like, you know what? I have been single for a while and I'm sick of it. I want to be married. I'm not finding anyone. That is another reason that singleness is on the rise, because there's lots of women out there. They want to be married. They are dating, but they're not finding the right one. And the reason they're not finding the right one is because they are identifying some of those key things that we talked about at the outset. They're seeing that this man could possibly be an emotional abuser, that they could cause some financial strain because they don't have a good job and can't support themselves, or they got a wandering eye before you even walk down the aisle, which already tells you they're going to be unfaithful. And so women who are dating are seeing these top three negative qualities in men and are choosing not to. So, but what if you're like just frustrated? Like, hey, I want to be married. I want a mate. I want a family. I want to start a family. I want all those traditional things out of life. That is a beautiful thing too. And I would tell you, don't give up. The most important thing you can do is to travel, is to get out of your comfort zone. The person that you need may not look like you. They may not be the same race as you, they might be from a different area. You may have to step into something else to really find someone who is going to tick all your boxes and add value to your life and help you reach some of your, physical, spiritual, all of those goals. Okay. And that is might be something that you need to do. One of the articles did say that, oh, some women are picky. They could have been married, but they're just too picky. There's something to be said for that, but at the same time, nobody's trying to lower their standards and pick any old body either. So that's gonna be basically only something each woman is going to know for herself if she's being too picky. Have I seen women turn down some awesome men and go for absolute idiots and end up divorcing anyway? Yes, I have seen that. And it hurts your heart because you already see it going in. You're like, this dude is super controlling. He ain't got a job. He looks at everything that walks by. This dude is a loser, but they fall for it. They are blinded, they are not thinking clearly, and they fall for it, and it doesn't turn out well. Or some women, they do everything right, and the fool just changes. That is a possibility too. You could do everything right. You could read the young people ask book and follow every step and do everything you're supposed to do right. And then, hey, out of nowhere, you get thrown this massive curveball. And so that's, again, another reason some women are just saying, you know what? If I put in all this work and this fool randomly throws me a curveball, like, that's not what I'm trying to experience in my life. I don't have time for that. I'd rather stay single. Hey, fair. So again, are some women being picky? Eh, I have heard some women that I felt were a little bit picky, but that's just my stinky opinion. It doesn't actually, that's my opinion. I can't say anything else for somebody else's life. I thought they were being a little picky. I'm like, girl, look, here's the things. He's got a job. He has some goals for himself, you know. He's also a spiritual person and he's, got all of the things. What's the problem? You know? And it usually boils down to some sort of overly romantic feeling. You know what I mean? That they develop for somebody else that's usually based on stuff that just doesn't matter. Um, you know, yes, looks matter and all that matters, but even if this person looks very, very good, if they will not get a job and if they're going to cheat on you and bring you home STDs and kids that ain't yours, was it really worth it? Nah, it was not. You would have been better off staying alone. So I'm not about telling people go for the prettiest face and that's all that matters. That to me is just really silly advice because let's face it too, a lot of the men who, got all the Abercrombie looks, those are the ones who are really gonna mess up a lot of the times because, you know, they just think they're all that. They think they're God's gift to everybody. And so they just kind of allow themselves to do whatever. They have no self-control with their sexuality. And, they mess up. It's not always, the model type or the model look. I've seen some dudes who you wonder who would actually have them, and they're doing the same thing. So, guys, this is such a massive conversation. You are never going to be able to pinpoint all the things. But what we can pinpoint is these are the three reasons that women are choosing to stay single: emotional abuse, they don't want that; financial strain, They don't want that. And infidelity, they don't want that. Okay. And so these are valid reasons why some women are choosing to stay single. If you are a single woman, the best thing you can do is continue to work on yourself and make yourself into the best version of yourself so that someone who truly is going to love you and make a great mate for you is going to value all that hard work you've put into yourself and your goals, your life goals, and they are going to want to partner with you and keep going on that path with you. Maybe I should do at one point like a red flag video on men, like 10 things that are red flags. Girl, if he does this, run the other way. Like, I think that one of those could be fun to do. But I think we did a pretty good job on talking about why women are sick and tired of, you know, a lot of this stuff and are just choosing to be single. So if you have chosen to be single for these reasons or maybe a different one, go ahead and drop a line below and let me know your thoughts and your experiences, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Because when women share, their ideas and their thoughts, it does give other women something to think about, especially the ones that are a little bit younger than us, or maybe a lot a bit younger than us. So go ahead and do that. I think it can really be good for us to do that. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, hey, I hope you have enjoyed this Did You Know episode on Work It Lady podcast on the subject of why women are choosing more and more to stay single. I hope you have found it informative. I hope that has helped you or someone you know. If it did, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Put your body in it.